As well as Feuersturm Doctrine, which we will probably never ever see, unfortunately, even though I love some of the things that get called in by it. And the Scavenge Doctrine with the Ostwind, the 105, Howitzer Barrage, and the Jaeger Light Recon. Now, I was going to notice real quick, as you do see a lot of these players kind of setting up all the barbed wire around green cover like crazy. You see, again, of course, these Pioneers or Sturmpires are throwing down that kind of entanglement going on there. Which we're also going to see real quick that both players are teching into, excuse me, not teching into, are very, very quickly picking up their fuel points. The Soviets picking up theirs a few seconds before the Germans do. The Germans have their Kubelwagen shifting up to the north to pick up their own. But, no, what I was going to say is, it sounds ridiculously silly, but while this particular replay was loading in, I was made aware of something that I should be thinking of the entire time. Looking over here on the map, you do see these areas right here that are red or blue for themselves. I never really appreciated how effective those things could actually be as a flanking opportunity. I mean, if you set a rally point that's close enough to those things and it's a different part of the map, you can totally flank your opponent, which is a much more surprising method of arriving troops. Combat engineers are going to start dropping mines down here to the south for the Soviets, and it's going to be kind of an issue for the Germans because that pathing going through tends to be a very, very easily observed one. Never mind, it does get called away because these Volksgrens do approach, and are going to start fighting off these combat engineers that are pretty much not quite cut out in the open, but they are close enough in the open that they're going to take some losses. Taking out a Volksgren, but oh wow, dropping that Volksgren, okay, that's why. The Volksgren was actually getting flanked by another group as well. So media engagement to the south. Jesulin kind of keeps his cool. He's like, well, that's whatever, man, that's fine. The map itself is developing to a 50-50 split, though, with Germans taking 2 of the strategic points right now, excuse me, victory points. So it's 500 to 464. Soviets are going to finally take the last one over here to the south and dropping a mine for it as well. But the center part of the map is going to be kind of predictably locked down by VonIvan going with a double Maxim. This Maxim to the rear covering all the approaches for this other Maxim right here, and perhaps even additionally covering the approach towards the strategic point, which would keep their own fuel still in coverage. Kubelwagen says, you know what, I never liked fences anyway, and manages to chase off combat engineers lickety split. They're going to bolt away and give up that last strategic, excuse me, victory point. I'm always going to call it a strategic point. I know it's sad. Sturmpire's moving around, though. In the meantime, they do have themselves some hazard removal kits, and the Kubelwagen is continuing to press its advantage by taking out the fuel point for the Soviets. Nay, never mind. He's going to the strategic point. Is he going to take? Is he just out of range? He must be just out of range. Barely. Yes, he is. He really is just barely out of range. That's like, 5 meters, perhaps. And with that, the Soviets are going to see their fuel drop rather precipitously. Yes, they are going to take a strategic point, victory point in the north, but Jesulin is already calling in his first SWS. Oh, geez, and it's the Maxim march to the south. As this one's getting called in at the same time, too. VonIvan has tacked, obviously, into support weapon, support weapon Compania. And will begin to unleash his dizzying barrages of machine gun fire. And he manages to decap that fuel point just long enough to make it frustrating for those poor Maxims. We already see combat engineers move around to the south, though, with their Rock 3 flamethrowers. Those guys can cook a German in just a few seconds flat. And this Maxim's going to see this Kubelwagen either off the field or wrecked. My guess is just off the field for the time being. And we do see it back away. Jesulin as well is actually, first of all, going to the Scavenge Doctrine. He's also calling his battle group headquarters, which is going to be just ducky for him. He is also going for kind of a deep dive over here, cutting off a lot of what really could be Soviet territories in the center part of the map. In terms of resource generation, this doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, obviously you can see to the south is connected, to the north is connected. Let's go back up here to the north to see that there's another engagement going on between these Volksgrens and the Kubelwagen. Soviets doing their best to decap that fuel point, but it's not going to happen. We are going to see, however, a mine placed in the south. So the next squad of Germans that comes in is going to find itself with a very, very big surprise. Volksgrens, in the meantime, have decapped, and we're trying to cap out that point. Instead, they're going to fall under suppressor fire from the Maxim, and the Zis gun is actually going to be an effective territory-taking organism here. Incendiary grenade goes off under the feet of those conscripts, fries 2 of them, and takes the last one, it seems, with the explosion of it, the concussive force of that miniature incendiary device. And could we see a squad wipe? No, we're not going to. That would just be very, very surprising. The Kubwagen is chasing it, though. More mines are going out. Combat engineers are looking to take out the center part of this map here. No, not right there. No, not right there either. We are going to see Strumpyos trying to face off against conscripts. Not going to be too easy for them to fight them off. Those STGs are just slightly out of range.
We have now installed a field hospital at headquarters.
And VonIvan, as you can hear, has just teched up to his field infirmary, as has the medics for Jesulin. So, a very, very even, let's say, support network going out for the 2 forces here. We're going to see for the first time the Soviets are going to take a lead in the victory point ticket drain. 486 to 412, 7 minutes into this game. It is a lot more even than it looks, ladies and gentlemen. We are also going to see that, really, the Germans have been pressed back with just a couple of minor squads. And is this Sturmpyos unit that he dropped? Yes. No, he's not dropped his hazard removal kit. I thought perhaps somehow he might have actually died. That is not the case. No, no. He just decided to put it away. You know, just put it away. Which, of course, does kind of take a negative to the mine-detecting ability of them, but it does at least allow them to have a little more firepower, and judging right now the way that VonIvan has teched into this infantry kind of advantage, is a good decision being made. We are going to see the first squad of Jaeger Lights coming out, definitely pushing up here to the north to kind of get some fire suppression on these conscripts. And the conscripts, while they're doing the whole like construction, you know, Bob the Builder thing, or, you know, Ivan the Builder, they take a lot more effective fires. You can do see, they see a couple models have dropped already. And these guys are getting kicked in the tail, forced into a very, very deep retreat. These Volkswagen are going to shift forward, so they're going to find themselves suppressed by this Maxim in just a second. I mark my words. Surprisingly enough, that green cover fights that suppression much longer than I would have given it credit for. But the Maxims in the south do allow the combat engineers, excuse me, the Maxim in the central part of the map, do allow the combat engineers in the south, that's what I meant to say, to successfully cap out a strategic point, and that's the right term for it. Oh my gosh, there's a dual Maxim now here covering apart these Volksgrens. These Volks are now pinned, they cannot move. And it's really up to these very, very brave Strumpyos running in behind this Zisgun for some god-awful reason. And gonna take some real damage here in just a second. Surprised we haven't seen an incendiary grenade coming out in the church. Strumpyos, in the meantime, are just gonna try to just plain tag. They're just chasing around on the Zisgun. They're trying to decrew it. That they are. Okay, only one model left though on that machine gun in the house. That Maxim, if that thing goes down, that is a big win for the Germans. You cannot decrew from there, or recrew rather. But instead, we're going to see it's a drop squad. These Volksgren getting picked up. And shockingly still, these Jaegers are just charging right into it. Not entirely sure why they're doing that. Oh well. Oh no, they finally have taken out the model. So VonIvan taking some losses as well. He has dropped more than his share of troops already, except now there's another Jaeger Light squad getting wrecked. The RNG in this has just been brutal already. Oof. Oof. Conscripts getting upgraded with the flamethrower and get dropped with the flamethrower, the special operations grenades. Just savaging that squad. 5 of them going down in 3 seconds, or 4 of them going down in 3 seconds. And Maxim to the south is going to continue to lock down the center part of the map, and really, oh no, here's Mr. Incendiary grenade on top of them. It's going to start to move them very quickly, or else they're going to fry and die. Shockingly, they only drop 1 model. Despite losing like 75% of their health, they only drop 1 model. Now, what is shocking to me too is that Jesulin has not teched up to another level of his troops just yet. He is calling a lot of Jaeger Lights, which is, to me, rather surprising. Is he trying to pick up the Zisgun? I'm not sure that'd be a great idea. No, he's not. Instead, he is just hiding back in this house. And if the guard squads have been called forward. So guards do have those PTRSs, and do they have the DP light machine guns as well? No, they have not upgraded to those just yet. There they are, they're coming in right about now. But this big mess of RNG, this is the savaging of all these squads. has allowed the Germans to take back a significant portion of this map. Costs kept shifting forward as well, recrewing that Jesulin. Question is no, okay, he's backing up. That's a good idea right there. All right. The Tank Heavy Battalion Command has been called in as well for VonIvan, so wait a short bit. You'll probably see a T-70 out on this map, but Jesulin is already planning ahead for that. He is picking up himself a Raketenwerfer and throwing down some mines over here in the center part of VonIvan's, forward areas. It's been a very, very uncharacteristic game for both of these players. These guys are usually kings of unit preservation, but right now it's just getting butchered right, left, and center. They are getting rid of this mine down here to the south, so instead of being surprised, instead Jesulin says, you know what, I don't like surprise parties. Combat engineers supported by a squad of conscripts are moving forward to kind of prevent this fuel decap, because if this goes down, yeah, the Russians are very much behind the 8-ball. I mean, they're not getting supplies from it already, but they'll be quite behind the 8-ball. Jaeger lights are shifting down though too, so between the Jaeger lights, the Kubelwagen putting on suppressive fire, and the combat engineers being pretty awful in combat, ironically, the Russian push gets backed off.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
And instead of actually being a T-70, we are going to see, oh my gosh, first of all, lots of explosives. Those special operation grenades coming out, not special operation, but the infiltration tactics, that's what we mean, are going to see the Soviets forced away. And maybe surprisingly for me, instead of being an instead of being a T-70, we see an Su-76 coming up for VonIvan. Maybe he's doing this so that way he has some long-range kind of artillery barrages that he can call in for free. I'm not entirely sure, but we are going to see another SWS coming in for Jesulin, and Jesulin can pretty much tech into Tier 4. I don't think I take that look right already. He already has the 200 manpower. He's definitely got the fuel. And if he gets that Tier 4 without the Soviets getting any real presence on this map, it ain't going to be pretty. Special operations grenades do backfire, though. Maybe he was predicting the Soviets to be charging forwards on him, but they do not do so. And yep, there's that artillery barrage that we were talking about. So the Jaeger lights are forced back, but 2 squads of the 3 being thrown back into, not the sea, but just far enough back. There is an explosive trap on this, but the booby trap, but it's not going to go off with those combat engineers right there. Yeah, that thing's going to get diffused. That's the right term for it. I'm not entirely sure, but it probably is. Raketenwerfer, for the meantime, is going to start taking shots at the Su-76, and a T-70 is coming out as well. So in addition to the Su-76, we're going to see a T-70. But whatever he's going to do, VonIvan's going to do it quick. It is 454 to 298. And why is this not being diffused? I don't know why it's not being diffused or anything. I don't know. Okay, maybe he's got to blow it off. No, it can't be. That can't be it. That's not right. More special operations grenades going out. Just explosions in every direction over here. These poor guards are getting flanked like crazy. Panzerfaust comes out from this Volksgrund squad. It's not going to go down, though. It does damage. Oh, no, he does go down. Never mind. Jaeger lights getting butchered as well. This grenade savages the German squads right there with the explosive trap on top, the booby trap on top of the strategic point. We'll see Jesulin's squads cut in half. But there now is a an Ostwind on the field. With that Ostwind, yeah, the Su-76 can penetrate. And the Jesulin can penetrate, but the infantry cannot stand up to it. You watch these guards get roasted and toasted out of this. Su-76 moving forward. The Raketenwerfer right there should be able to get a couple of rounds in on that PDQ. But no. No. Instead, the Germans back away ever so cautiously. And why should they? And why shouldn't they, rather? I mean, they don't really need to be pushing forwards. They have 40 fuel coming in, at least for another 20 or 30 seconds. The only thing he really has to worry about for his opponent is this Su-76 that's on the field. Other than that, I mean, it has not been a good day to be really anything on this map. This battlefield is getting, it's just covered by just tons and tons of blood. Now, Although it'd be really interesting to me, I'm not going to see this Ostman slide down here to the south. We already see some lens flare on the screen. Kind of funny for me. And we're also going to see actually these concepts picking up this territory down to the south, this lower strategic point. Victory point. I'm going to say it all day, every day, guys. Forgive me. But now the Su-76 has been repaired, which means that Ostwind really should not be too sanguine about his long-term survivability. But doesn't mean that things are all hunky-dory for VonIvan. He is down 250 tickets and short of really tabling his opponent. Yeah, things look kind of brutal for him. Add in, too, that we are going to see some booby-trapped points around the field, maybe not up here to the north, but we see it on the ammunition point right here. And being a Soviet infantryman is a very, very dangerous thing. And there's Jesulin right there, kind of lamenting the troops he just lost. Oh, you have to be mad. Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of a question, isn't it? Now, I am surprised that Jesulin isn't just saving up for a killer tank. Like, even a P4 would be more than enough to really take out anything on this map. But maybe what he's doing is going to stall out for... No, it doesn't really need to. I would just go for the Panzer IV right now. Don't really worry too much about the Panther. The Panther would take a little bit more time to actually come in, and he really should be getting a quicker bit of presence on this map. Over here to the south, we are going to see these Maxims are going to keep pretty much all these Jaegers at range. Where is that Rakettenwerfer, though? We're seeing a lot of surprisingly quiet periods between all of these troops. Our guards are going to see parts of their number getting sniped out by those Jaeger lights, and there's that P4 finally coming in. Once the P4 comes in, though, the question is he going to be able to, like I said, table his opponent, or not so much? Maxims, in the meantime, though, are probably going to buy it. All he needs to do is take a couple more shots with that, like, rapid-firing cannon of his, and that thing is just brutal. Jaegers are not going... What just happened? One mortar round took out basically a full-strength squad of Jaegers. This has just been, like, the worst game ever for just RNG. And I am surprised to see this going on. We actually see a bit of a stalemate. Both Russians and the Germans just stunned by the way that this kind of fighting has gone on. Units dropping with a whisper of wind, just wrecking squads galore. Ay ay ay. Ay ay ay. The Russians themselves are going to go and take a trip cap on this map, decapping the northern side in about 5 seconds and capping it out themselves. Oh no, wait, never mind. We have the Ostwind over here, and he's got those guards totally in the flank. They're standing on the wrong side of that territory. And very, very intelligently, those Jaeger lights decide to get out of the way. Over here in the south, though, we are going to see the Panzer IV announces his presence, and the PTRSs of those guards will still force it away, shockingly enough. And the light 105 barrage is going to be called in by Jesulin, just taking out this garrison pretty quickly. Not doing a whole lot more else other than that. That's just as well. A long spec down the center part of the map for him. And the Panzer IV is just coming up over here, though, and just start taking out troops left and right. But the Su-76 is in support. And if we see a vehicle kill on either side, we could see pretty much a tap out from somebody. Is going to happen right there? So is the Su-76. I see this Panzer IV dying any second now. One more round. Yep, it brews up, and that is going to be the end of that particular troop. So where is that Ostwind in the meantime? Yeah, Jesulin just taps out. He says, you know what, guys, this is just not worth it. And less than 21 minutes in, VonIvan manages to take out Jesulin with the help of a very, very nasty RNG. Yeah, this is surprising. It's surprising in many ways, folks. So thanks so much for tuning in for that rather super quick game. Shocking, I know. If you have your own game you want me to check out, please let me know at conorgaming@gmail.com. Send me the replay from your files. If you need to know how to do that, email me. I'll walk you through the process. But that's going to be it for me on this particular battle. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Conor signing off. Take it easy, everybody.